Next, we'll talk about the world of being in the book of Zhuangzi. The book of Zhuangzi contains a lot of discussion on logic. In chapter 33, we find the 10 paradoxes of Hui Shi. These paradoxes are presented to shake the ways in which we think about the world of determinate things. Hui Shi does not mean to deny the existence of the particular things themselves. What he seems to deny is the absolute reality represented by the categorical predicates, attributes or general properties which we assign to things, particularly spatial, temporal, and classificatory attributes. Quote, the largest has nothing outside it. We call it the one of largeness. The smallest has nothing within it. We call it the one of smallness. Unquote. The world remains the same one no matter what attributes to ascribe to it. There seems to be nothing in the world that is said to be large or small. In the matter of classification, we tend to class things according to sameness and difference. At times, we may focus on the identical properties, such as the common qualities of mammals. At times, we focus on the differential, such as on the different properties of oxen and horses. In this vein, the 10,000 things are all the same and all different. The attributes that are used to classify things amount to nothing substantial in reality. Hui Shi's doubt about attributes extends to the ethical and social implications of the terms high and low, great and small, as well as to the constant shift in human fortunes and the meaning of the passage from youth to old age. Humans and all other things are indeed equivalent despite their differences relative to each other. Hui Shi calls on people to, quote, to love all the 10,000 things, treat heaven and earth as one body, unquote. Unlike Hui Shi, Zhuangzi does not wish to deny all reality to things. Quote, saying is not blowing breath. Saying says something, unquote. If our language was not befuddled by our tendency to absolutize relative distinctions among things, our words might give us a correct account of what is found in our immediate experience of the world. Our language would respond to the way things present themselves without prejudice. Our language would spontaneously respond appropriately to all the kaleidoscope shifts in the nature of the world and to the infinite variety of perspectives from which the world can be viewed. Quote, if a man sleeps in a damp place, his back aches. But is this true of the loach? Unquote. There's no problem for the man to say that his back aches from the damp. This is saying something about man's relation to dampness. If he says that dampness is bad in any absolute sense, then his language fails to reveal the reality. The things and the situations are not self-sufficient entities which can be grasped in all their aspects from our own individual and transient perspectives. They are rather fluid things whose aspects and transformations depend on their relationship with a whole world of other things. Quote, you moved before, now you stop. You were sitting, now you stand. Why have you no fixed principle? End quote. The crucial thing is that the world is not composed of entities or things, but of facts or events. The facts or events do not present themselves to us to begin with. It is in the process of our involvement in the world that we can avail ourselves of the facts and events in the world. This is vividly illustrated with Zhuangzi's allegory of butterfly dream. Zhuangzi wonders whether he is Zhuangzi who has dreamed that he is a butterfly, or a butterfly who has dreamed that it is Zhuangzi, since the reality of both Zhuangzi and the butterfly is essentially dreamlike. What the allegory tells us is that Zhuangzi and the butterfly do not constitute metaphysical reality of the world. What happened to them count as furniture of the world. There are two separate events. One is Zhuangzi's dream, in which he is a butterfly. The other is the butterfly's dream, in which it is Zhuangzi. Zhuangzi does not disagree with Hui Shi on his doubt about existence of attributes. In fact, what Zhuangzi emphasizes is that what is of metaphysical significance is not things and their properties, but events and situations in which events occur. Zhuangzi's focus on facts or events can be further illustrated as follows. Little understanding asks great impartial harmony. Quote, what are administrative unit words? Unquote. They are technical terms referring to administrative units made up of groups of families and to higher administrative units made up of these units. This question seems to ask what is the ontological status of such entities? Are they real entities subsuming the different sub-entities which they are composed of? For example, are entities such as counties real entities which actually subsume their human members? The reply seems to be that they can indeed be treated as real as entities which compose them. Quote, one unites the different to make the same, unquote, says great impartial harmony, and then turns to the image of a horse. Quote, you can point to the 100 parts of a horse and not obtain a horse, and yet the horse is tied up there in front of you. Thus, we put together the 100 parts and correlate a horse, unquote. It is a fact that a horse shows up in front of you when you unite the 100 parts of the horse. Each of the 100 parts of the horse also counts as a fact. But this does not prevent the horse as a whole from being a fact. Again, the point is that the world is composed of facts rather than of things. Facts are structured in a way in which a cluster of facts can be lumped together into a new fact. The ultimate particles of which a chair is composed count separately as a fact, no more or no less than the chair itself counts as a fact. If the world is totality of facts or events that could be lumped together into one fact or one event, then there exists an agent that brings about the fact or the event. From the book, we find metaphors such as the creator of things, the creative principle, and the true ruler. Quote, if I should say that I do not want to be anything but a man, nothing but a man, the Creator would surely regard me as an inauspicious sort of person. So now, if one thinks of heaven and earth as a great furnace and the Creator as the skilled smith, where could he send me that would not be all right? Unquote. We are thrown into this world. This is an event whose structure calls for an agent. It is the Creator who fills the role of agent. The Creator is required in the logic structure of event. It is not that the Creator exists prior to the event. In another passage, after discussing all the changing moods and turbulent emotions of our restless lives, Zhuangzi remarks, quote, I do not know who or what causes them. There must be some genuine ruler, but we do not have an external sign of him. That he can form things or act is certain, but one does not see his form. He has identity, but no form, end quote. Just as we said in the last paragraph, the ruler is required to fill the role of agent of the event. That we are in a certain emotional state is the event in discussion. The agent is a logical role in the event structure. So, the ruler is not a specific figure to be identified in the world. In discussing the operations of the human organism, Zhuangzi asks how it works as a functioning whole. Is there any favorite organ? It seems that now one organ is in control, and now another, but that no particular organ is in any permanent or privileged control. He concludes that basically it is the Tao which is in control. But in talking of the Tao in this context, he again says it would seem that, quote, they, the parts of the organism, have a genuine ruler present in them. When we seek to identify it, whether we find it or not, neither adds nor detracts from its genuineness, unquote. Human organism works as a whole to form an event. The ruler that fills the role of agent in the event semantics is not a specific figure in the world. The ruler is an abstract agent role realizer. Connected with the previous discussion of intentional acts, this has further implication. Intentional acts work to bring about the fact that the phenomenal world operates as it does. The way in which the phenomenal world operates can be formalized in event semantics. Event semantics requires an agent role. This role can be filled by the ruler. It is the ruler who performs intentional acts at a higher level to bring about the world of being. Okay, that's all about the world of being.